Good day everyone. How is everyone doing? So this is another class on website design. So on this video we'll be talking about CSS, Cascading Style Sheets. So it will be a very long class. So we'll be talking about everything that we can come up with in CSS, everything from the beginning to the advanced level. So sit tight and enjoy. Take up a paper, take up a pen, and make sure you jot down. And also take up your application so you can practice also. Take up your phone or your laptop so you can also practice. So this window that I opened right now is an application from W3 schools. There is a website where you can learn coding from beginning to the end, from beginners level to advanced level. So you can see I downloaded this as an offline application. Do you understand? So you can learn HTML, CSS, RWD, Bootstrap, and JavaScript. Do you understand? So this is a platform where you can learn programming, web building, and the rest. So you can just type on Google w3schools.com. So right now we're running through CSS. So this CSS. You can also download the offline application, like the one I'm using now. The offline file rather, the what I'm using right now. So we'll be running through this whole content, as you can see. And I'll be showing you how it is applied. So the first thing we're going to do is CSS, introduction to CSS, right? So let's see. So from here, CSS is the language we use to style an HTML document. CSS describes how HTML elements should be displayed. This tutorial will teach you CSS from basic to advanced. Okay, alright, so that's the first thing. It is used to style HTML elements. So for you to find this video, that means you must have knowledge of HTML, right? And if you don't have any knowledge on HTML, you can go to my videos. I have a lot of videos on that. I also have videos on CSS, but I want this video to be unique. I want it to be a very long video. So sit tight. Let's begin. So there will be examples in each chapter. This CSS tutorial contains hundreds of CSS examples. With our online editor, you can edit the CSS and click on a button to view the results. So let's practicalize that. So this is a CSS example. So we have the body, then we have background blue, then we have H1, as you can see here. So if you want to try it, you don't need internet, since if you have the offline file, just click on try it yourself. So if you take me to this window here, so now this is the results. This is the results here. This is the input. So let's see. So we'll try this on our Visual Studio Code. So I'm using a Visual Studio Code editor, right? So this is my Visual Studio Code. You can use anyone. So let me save this file. Let me open the file rather. So file, new file. So let me call it index. Enter. So I want to save it in desktop, and this is the folder I'm saving it. CSS marathon. So index, put dot HTML. I'm creating an HTML file first. Okay, so create. Alright, so this file now is an HTML file. So from here we'll still be seeing how CSS is done, and if there's need to create a CSS file, we'll create it. So to expand this, just press Ctrl plus. So I want you to be able to see it very well. So that's why. So let's run our basic documents. Shift 1, or just type exclamation mark, enter. Let me reduce it a little. Okay, so these are our basic documents. Okay, let me leave it like this. These are basic documents. Okay, so let's see. So you have doc type, HTML head, style, and the rest. So it is the body that will put all our work, right? So in this body here, we have so as you can see, we open style here in the head section. So there are many ways to style your CSS. Anyways, we'll get there. So let's just do this. So in the head section here, open your style. This is the head section. So before the close of the head, so enter. So style, close it. So enter. So in between, let's see what you're going to put. So body, then the curly braces, so this body, curly braces, enter. So we have background color should be light blue. So background color light blue. So as you can see, so we have semicolon here and we have colon here. So after that you save. So let's see what's there again. So we have H1. So let's bring our H1. So H1. You know, let's just, before we style, let me delete it back. Let me delete it. Let me delete everything. Okay. So, you know, we put all our work in the body, right? Okay, so we can style in the head section. So let's put our HTML file first. So let's put our H1. So in between. So let's see. My first CSS example, right? So my first CSS example. Let me put this back here. So it should be on the same line. Let me just leave it like this. So these are our H1. So let's see what they did again. So paragraph, this is a paragraph. Let's bring a paragraph. This is a paragraph. So we'll be using CSS to style this. I think that's all. So you can see here. Okay, so let's use CSS to style it. So this is internal styling. We are styling from the head section. So we have internal, inline, and external. Alright, so to style it using internal here, we will bring our style in the head section. So let's bring style in the head section. But before then, let's even open this file and see how it's going to look like. So save. If you want to save, just Ctrl X or go to file and see save here. Okay, so let me open it from where I saved it. Okay, so let me open the file. This is my folder. So let me, this is the file here. Open it with Chrome or any browser you want to use. So I'm using Chrome. So this is my, let me zoom in. So this is how my website looks like right now. So I want to style it with CSS. So what do? I'll go to the head section. Let me go to the head section before the end. This is the head section. This is the close of the head. This is the opening of the head. So let me go before the end of the head section. So I'll bring my style, close it. So what do I want to style? I want to style the H1 and the paragraph. So let's go to the tutorial. So they said okay. So from the style, so the body, the whole body, we want the background color to be light blue. So this is how you style using CSS. So you call the selector first. Selector is body, but we'll explain all this later. So body, you want your body to be enter. You want your body to have a color of light blue. So bring your curly braces. This enter. So background color light blue. So as you can see, we have colon here, we have semicolon to end it. So save. What again do we want? The H1 should have color white and text align should be center. Okay, so let's do H1. So that's for that. Then after this end of the curly brace, bring H1, then your curly braces, color should be white, then text align should be center, text align center. Okay, let me scroll down. So let's see again. Text align center. Okay, so we want to also style the paragraph. So that's P. So font family, Vedana, that should be the font family, and the font size should be 20. So we want to change the font to be Vedana. Okay, so let's see. So P, font family, Vedana. So let's bring our P. So font family, look at font family here. So Vedana, this is first one here. Let's just put it like this. Vedana. Then font size 20 pixel, px. Alright, so font size, font family, Vedana. Alright, so let's save it. Let me reduce the, okay, let me leave it like this. I believe you can see it like this. So save. So let me zoom, let me check the, so this is our website here. So you reload here, this place here, reload. So as you can see, it has reloaded. So the whole background is light blue, then this H1 is a center, then this paragraph is left aligned. Let's see if that's how Let's see if that's how it's supposed to be. I believe you can see like this. So let me just let me see. Okay, this is the tutorial again. So this is the editor. Yeah, so this is how it's supposed to be. This is how it should be. So as you can see here, so if you want to edit it from here, you can also do the same thing. So let's change the color now. Let's just say blue. Let's say, okay, let's run. As you can see, the color has changed. So let's change the color from white to black. So that's H1 color. So let's say black. So run. As you can see, it has changed. So let's see font size should be 50. So click on run. So as you can see. So this is just an introduction to CSS. So what I did here was I just showed us how it is done on our Visual Studio Code, so that you won't have any problem in doing it by yourself. Okay, so this is what we did here. The first thing we did was, in our body, we brought our H1 and our paragraph. Then we styled it. We used the internal styling. And internal styling is done using the head section in between before you get to the end of the head section. So this is the head section. You style it inside a style attribute. Use style attributes. So this style. So whatever it is you want to style, you put it in between the opening tag of the style and the closing tag of the style. So this is what it did. So here means that the whole body of the work of the website, we want the background color to be light blue, and the H1, we want the color to be white, and we want the text line of that H1 to be at the center. Then the paragraph, we want the font family to be Verdana and the font size to be 20. So save. So this is how it is done. So I'll be explaining to us from this tutorial here for subsequent ones. Okay, so let's go back to the tutorial. Alright, so that's just an introduction on how it is done. So click on try it yourself button to see how it works, and we've done that. So CSS examples, so you can go here to see more examples. So we recommend reading this tutorial in the sequence listed in the menu. If you have a large screen, the menu will always be present on the left. If you have a small screen, open the menu by clicking on the top menu sign. Alright, so this is just an introduction. So when you are through, you can always have exercises here. So as you can see now, let's see this exercise. Set the color of all paragraph elements to be red. So what you're supposed to do here is, bring the paragraph here. So that should be color. So that should be color. Then you put your colon. Then this should be it. Let's see submit answer. So I'm supposed to be connected to internet. I'm not connected. So when you're connected, you can just write. So this will help you to keep track of your progress. Alright, so let's continue. So you can go to quiz. So that's just that for that. So let's see the next thing. So introduction. CSS is the language we use to style a web page. It stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on screen, paper, or in other media. CSS saves a lot of work. It can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. External style sheets are stored in CSS files. So this is like a demo. So here we will show one HTML page displayed with 4 different styles. Click on style 1, style 2, style 3 to see different ones. So this is just like a sample of a website, of a style. Okay, so let's see. Why use CSS? CSS is used to define styles for your web pages, including design, layout, and variations in display for different devices and screens and screen sizes. So as you can see, we have different screen sizes for phones and devices. So you can use CSS to style it, so that if you're using a mobile phone, how do you want it to display? If you're using a computer, how do you want the screen to be? So you can use CSS for that. So like the example we gave just now, this is the example. So let's see. So HTML was never intended. CSS solved a big problem. So HTML was never intended to contain tags for formatting a web page. HTML was created to describe the content of a web page, like this H1 here. This is a heading. This is a paragraph. So when tags like font and color attributes were added to the HTML 3.2 specification, it started a nightmare for web developers. Development of large websites where fonts and color information were added to every single page became a long and expensive process. To solve this problem, the World Wide Web Consortium W3C created CSS. CSS removed the style formatting from the HTML page. So if you don't know what HTML is, you can click on this place for the tutorial. Right? So CSS saves a lot of work. The style definitions are normally saved in external.css files. So the example we did was internal styling. So with an external style sheets file, you can change the look of an entire website by changing just one file. Alright, so that's the introduction. I believe we understand. So CSS has come to make building a website simpler and less stressful. So you can create an external file instead of making the HTML file look so disorganized. So let's go to the next one. CSS syntax. Alright, so a CSS rule consists of a selector and a declaration block. A CSS rule consists of a selector and a declaration block. So CSS syntax. So we have selector and we have declaration. So as you can see, we have selector, which is H1. We have declaration, which, for example, we have color, we want to be blue. Then we have font size, we want to be 12 pixels. So the selector is what, okay, we'll get there. So the color is the property, then the blue is the value. So the font size is the property, 12 pixels is the value. So we'll get there. I believe we can see this. So the selector points to the HTML element you want to style. So what do you want to style? Do you want to style the paragraph, the header, the body? Do you understand? So that's the selector. So declaration, okay. The declaration block contains one or more declarations separated by semicolons. So each declaration includes a CSS property name and value. So a declaration is separated by semicolons, and each declaration includes a CSS property name and value separated by a colon. As you can see here, so this is a semicolon and this is a colon. So both of them, both property and value, are called declaration, and at the end is separated by a semicolon. So the property is separated by colon, then at the end of the declaration separated by a semicolon. So multiple CSS declarations are separated with semicolons, and declaration blocks are surrounded by curly braces. Alright, so in this example, all paragraph elements will be center aligned with a red text color. So this P, so let's try it ourselves. So as you can see here, these are paragraph. I want to be center aligned, so set color should be red. Okay, this is the styling. Let's go to the, okay, this is the HTML in the body of the work. This is the body. So the paragraph says hello world. The other paragraph is saying these paragraphs are styled with CSS. So let us style it using internal styling. So in the head section, bring out your style, then paragraph, then your curly braces. This is curly braces. So the color is red, right? So let's change it to black. So now this is the value. So let's change the value to black. So let's click on run. As you can see, it has changed. So let's change center to, let's see, left. As you can see, so that is the function of CSS. It styles the HTML, and you can see that this is the HTML here. This is the HTML, right? So we use CSS to style it. So let me Ctrl Z, undo. So run. So this is the original work. So let's continue. So example explained. P is a selector in CSS. It points to the HTML element you want to style, right? So what do you want to style? You want to style the paragraph, the header. Do you understand? So color is a property and red is the property value. So color is a property you want to style, and red is the value I've given to it. So text align is a property and center is the value, property value. I believe that's clear. So let's see the next thing. So CSS selectors. A CSS selector selects the HTML element you want to style. Okay, so CSS selectors are used to find or select the HTML elements you want to style. So we can divide CSS selectors into 5 categories. Simple selectors select elements based on name, ID, class. Combinator selectors select elements based on a specific relationship between them. Pseudo class selectors select elements based on a certain state. Pseudo element selectors select and style a part of an element. Attribute selectors select elements based on an attribute or attribute value. So this page will explain the most basic CSS selectors. So let's see. So the CSS element selector, the element selector selects HTML elements based on the element name. So we're talking about the element selector right now. So let's see. So here all P elements on the page will be center aligned with a red text color. So this is element selector. So the P here is an element. So what it means is that any text in the paragraph or in the P element will be text. The text align will be center, the color will be red. So let's try it by ourselves. So you can see this is our HTML file. This is our HTML paragraph. Every paragraph will be affected by the style. So we give this paragraph an ID. An ID name which is para1. So but then when we went to our CSS, we said paragraph. That means all paragraphs, everything, both the one that was given ID, both the one that was not given ID. Look at this one, wasn't given ID. So plus that, this one with this will be styled together because we're talking about paragraph. That means anything paragraph is styled. So let's see. So we can change. Let's change this color. Let's put it black. So let's run. Let's see. You can see everything has changed to black. So this is an element selector. We selected the P element, meaning that anything in the paragraph, anything paragraph will be affected. Okay, so let's see what next. So ID selector. You know, in this example here, there was an ID here, as you can see. There's an ID in this place here. So let's see. We've talked about element selector. So we're now in the class CSS ID selector. The ID selector uses the ID attribute of an HTML element to select a specific element. The ID of an element is unique within a page. So the ID selector is used to select one unique element. To select an element with a specific ID, write a hash character followed by the ID of the element. So let's see an example. So the CSS rule below will be applied to the HTML element with ID para1. So let's see. So as you can see now, we want to select only okay, let's try it ourselves first. Okay, so this is our paragraph. We gave it an ID. The ID name is para1, just like a unique identity, right? So the second paragraph is, this paragraph is not affected by the style. So we want to style our paragraph and we don't want one to be affected. We want one to be affected. So we want this one that has ID to be affected. So instead of putting P as the selector, we'll bring hash and add the name of the ID. So hash is used to call a class selector. An ID selector. An ID selector. You use hash for the ID selector. So give it an ID. So use hash to call it. So instead of writing just P, instead of writing P like this. Okay, let's see what happens here. So let me run. Click on run. So you can see everything, both the one that has ID and the one that does not have ID. So let me undo. So now for us to call that ID, we'll write hash, which is here, and the name of the ID, and this is the name of the ID, para1. So meaning that we're calling only this one. So let me run it. As you can see, it is only this one that is affected. So we said para1, text align should be center, color should be red. So as you can see, this one color is red and it is center aligned. So you can see how we can call elements. So if you give an ID to your paragraph, you can call it by using hash. Okay. Okay, so the next thing, so note, an ID name cannot start with a number. So you saw that this one, the ID we gave it ended with a number, not start with a number. So we've talked about element selector, we've talked about ID selector, and you can call your ID using hash. So class selector now. Class selector. The class selector selects HTML element with a specific class attributes. To select elements with a specific class, write a period, that's full stop, character, followed by the class name. So for class we use period, then for ID we use hash. So in this example, all HTML elements with class center will be red and center aligned. So let's try it. So look at now, this is H1. We gave it a class name of center. Look at center. Then our paragraph also, we give it a class name of center. So, and in the right up says red and center aligned heading. So this one to red and center aligned heading. So how do we style this? So in the head section also, so we want to call our class now. So you start with dot center, then put your declaration, text align center, color red. So let's see if it's going to work. Let's put hash. So run, let's see. As you can see, it is not obeying the instruction that's given here. Text align center, color red. It's not that, because we are giving a wrong attribute. We are calling the wrong thing. So center is a class, so we put period. So I put it now. So run. As you can see, so when you are calling your class, you use period. When you are calling your ID, you use hash. And when you are calling just your elements without ID or class, you just put the selector that way. So you can also specify that only specific HTML elements should be affected by a class. So in this example, only paragraph, only the P elements with class center will be red and center aligned. So let's see, try it yourself. So we have H1, it has a class name of center. We also have P, class name of center. But the outcome we want to achieve is that since they have the same class name, right? Okay, so said this heading will not be affected. So said this paragraph will be red and center aligned. So how do we call this paragraph to be affected so that this first one will not be affected since they have the same class name? So what we do is since they are since we want paragraph to be affected, so just add p dot center. Center is the class name for both of them, right? But for us to be specific enough, since we want only this paragraph to be affected, so you just put p, then to call your class is dot, right? So dot, then put the class name center. So that way this one is not affected, this one is affected. So let's see, let's put okay, let me remove the p and see. So that means let's run. As you can see, everything is affected. So for us to be specific, p, that means talking about this paragraph here. So run. Okay, let me remove this paragraph. Let me remove this one. So let me say hash. Let's see if it's going to work. As you can see, this does not obey this declaration here. So you have to be careful and mindful of how you take this hash and period. So you can also, HTML elements can also refer to more than one class. So in this example, the p elements will be styled according to class center and to class large. So you want to select more than one. So try it yourself. So we have h1. All the classes are center, right? The class name is center. So this one says this heading will not be affected. This paragraph will be read on center line. This paragraph will be read on center line. So we only want these two paragraphs to be affected. And they both have a class name and they are both paragraphs, right? Okay. So this one has class name of center large. Yes. And these two have center as the class name. So how do we call? See, this one has a different class name and this one has a different class name. So how do we call these two paragraphs so that it can obey the declaration? So what we're going to do is we can call them separately. So the first one can say p dot center. That is this one. This is paragraph. So to call the class is period. So p dot center. We are saying that text align should be center, color red. So we want this one to be center and have a color of red. Okay. So now after calling that one, we can now call this second one p dot large. P dot large. So that's for this one. Okay. So let's see something. As you can see, this one was affected and this one was affected also. So now see, in this place here we said p dot large should have a font size of 300% and p dot center wants color red, text align center. So we are saying p dot large font size should be 300%. Okay, so let's do some changes and see. Okay, let's say okay, this one is good, p center. Okay, so let's put this p dot, let's write center large. Center large. So let's run. So when we added the center, let's see, center large, let's see what's going to happen. As you can see, it took the attribute, it took the declaration of this, so it didn't follow this declaration because we have center here. Do you understand? And this center, this is the declaration that is obeying. So for us to make it different, just have to leave it to be large, as you can see, So this is something that will make it unique from the other classes. So p.large, let's run. So that's why it's like this. So let's see. So a class name cannot start with a number. So we have the CSS universal selector. The CSS universal selector selects all HTML elements on the page. So the CSS rule will affect every HTML element on the page. Every HTML element, whether it's with an ID, class, or just an element. So let's see. So when you use asterisk or star, it will affect everything. So let's see our HTML. So we said hello world. So the paragraph is every element on the page will be affected by the style. I'm giving this paragraph second one ID, para 1. This one says and me too. Then another paragraph and me. So irrespective of the ID or class, when you use star to call your elements to affect everything, so you can see, use star, then bring your curly braces, then text align center, color blue, meaning that you want all the elements, everything here in your body to have a color blue and center. So let me put hash and see, as you can see. So it's when you put your asterisk. So this is to call everything. So this one, even if you give it a class on an ID, so long as you put this asterisk here, it calls everything. So that's it. So the next thing I'm going to do is the grouping selector. The grouping selector selects all the HTML elements with the same style definitions. Look at the following CSS code. The H1, H2, and P elements have the same style definitions. So H1, H2, P, and how do they have definition? Look at H1. You have your curly braces, and we have the same declaration: text align center, color red. H2, text align center, color red. P, text align center, color red. So instead of writing it in 3 places, let's say, it will be better to group the selectors to minimize the code. Instead of writing the same, to repeat the same thing, you can just group them together to avoid writing too much code. So to group selectors, separate each selector with a comma. So let's see, try yourself. So now these are our body, hello world, H2 is smaller heading, P is this with paragraph. So we want to style it. We are starting with text align center, color red. But instead of writing H1, give it this attribute, H2, type the same attribute again, then P, the same attribute again. we just say h1 comma, instead of doing it like this, instead of saying h1 this, h2 this, p this, you can just group them since they have the same attribute, the same declaration and value. You can just say okay, h1 comma, h2 comma, p comma, then your attributes. So you can say h1 comma, h2 comma, then p, then bring your curly braces, then give it the same declaration you want. So text align, center, color red. So and at the end put your semicolon. So you run. So that's that. So that will be the end for this. Okay. That will be the end for this video. So if you stayed to this end, you've tried, and there's always a reward for those that are hardworking. So please, and if you know you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. And if you didn't turn on your notification bell, please do so that you won't miss out when I upload videos. And you can also share this video to those who want to learn how to build websites, who are enthusiastic about website design. Send it to your friends so that they can also benefit from what you benefited from. Okay? You can give me comments in any area you do not understand. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me anything I did not explain very well to you. You can comment it and I will be glad to assist or reply you. Please make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell and share this video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. So we'll see you in the next video.